Hello again, Chief Meteorologist Matt Farrell here with another installment of Weather Impact 101, our weekly segment on all the weather phenomena that can impact your life. This week we'll be doing something a little bit different. Once each quarter we'll do a meteorology grab bag where we take a few terms that we use frequently in our weathercasts and do a deeper dive on what they represent and how they can impact you. For this grab bag, we'll be talking all about heat terminology. We'll talk about the criteria that warrants a heat advisory, what warrants an excessive heat watch or warning, and then we'll go over the difference between heat exhaustion and heat stroke. Let's start with heat advisories. This is the lowest level of advisory issued by the National Weather Service for heat safety. Different National Weather Service offices across the country have different criteria for what warrants a heat advisory. Here in Central Texas, our version of heat differs a bit from what they might consider hot in Minnesota. Specifically for Central Texas, the National Weather Service office in Fort Worth will issue a heat advisory if temperatures are forecast to be over 103 degrees for 2 consecutive days, or if the heat index is forecast to be over 105 for 2 consecutive days. On these days, it's important to practice heat safety, including taking frequent breaks in the shade or air conditioning and staying hydrated during the heat of the day. Heat advisories are not uncommon here in Central Texas due to the amount of moisture we typically have in the air during our summer. Our heat index values frequently climb up over 105 degrees in the middle of the summer. Slightly less common is the issuance of an excessive heat watch or excessive heat warning. According to the National Weather Service in Fort Worth, Central Texas criteria for an excessive heat warning include 2 consecutive days of 105-degree temperatures or a heat index of 110 for 2 consecutive days. These temperatures are extremely dangerous, and during these times, outdoor activities are typically discouraged. On average, we may see 5 to 10 excessive heat products issued during the summer. The difference between a watch and a warning is also important. In the case of an excessive heat watch, the possibility of reaching criteria exists even if the forecast isn't quite hot enough. With a warning, on the other hand, the criteria are in the forecast and are expected to occur. Another term we use frequently during the hot weather season is heat exhaustion. Heat exhaustion occurs anytime your body overheats. What causes you to overheat? Well, of course, exposure to high temperatures, especially when the humidity is also elevated. Here in Central Texas, we can almost be guaranteed that some amount of humidity is going to be present during the summer months. Symptoms of heat exhaustion include cool, moist skin with goosebumps when in the heat, heavy sweating, faintness, dizziness, fatigue, a weak, rapid pulse, low blood pressure upon standing, muscle cramps, nausea, or headaches. If you experience heat exhaustion, you may not necessarily need to seek medical attention, but you should stop all activity, move to a cooler place, and drink cool water. If you don't exercise caution with heat exhaustion, it can turn into our last weather term for today. That is heat stroke. Heat stroke occurs if your internal temperature rises to 104 degrees Fahrenheit. While heat exhaustion can be treated by drinking water and cooling off, heat stroke is a serious condition that requires medical attention. According to the Mayo Clinic, if left untreated, heat stroke can cause damage to your brain, heart, kidneys, and muscles, and the longer you wait, the more serious those complications can get. If left unchecked long enough, heat stroke can even be fatal. Symptoms include high body temperature, an altered mental state or behavior, lack of sweat, nausea and vomiting, flushed skin, rapid breathing, racing heart rate, or headache. If someone is suffering from any of these symptoms around you, call 911 immediately. And while waiting for emergency care, move the overheated person to a cooler area, remove excess clothing, and do whatever you can to lower their body temperature. Here in Texas, we tend to take the hot weather for granted sometimes. We're used to seeing streaks of 100-degree days in July and August. That doesn't make it any less dangerous. In hot weather climates, it's still important to remember that we're all human and our bodies can overheat as well. Well, that does it for this installment of Weather Impact 101. Check back next Wednesday when meteorologist Aviana Smith will be talking about how to stay safe on the playground during these Texas heat waves. Until then, you can stream any of our old Weather Impact 101 content on our YouTube channel or on the 6 Plus app. Until next time, this is Chief Meteorologist Matt Farrell for 6 News, here to help.